Good morning on this beautiful spring day, and welcome to the love and light that is Unity of Lawrence. Breathing in that fresh, cool air and knowing all is well. And in Unity, we begin in prayer. So thank you, Karen, our prayer chaplain, for leading us in prayer this morning.
Good morning, divine beings. Oh, let's just take a breath in and release. Man. And take another breath in and center into that heart space where we know that love abounds and lives, and that the truth of our being is that love and its sacredness, that we've come together to form a connection, to open ourselves to this message, to the music, and to the well-being that is our birthright. We give thanks that we can gather in this way safely. And we give thanks that soon, hopefully, we will come together in person. But for now, we are here and now, in love, in truth, and in wholeness, gathered together, knowing this for ourselves and for each other. We give thanks for the spirit that runs through us all. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Karen. And so now we do our other thing we love to do, which is sing. Please join Holly in singing Doing What I Do Best by Richard Medici. Having trouble hearing Holly. So we're fixing that. And sometimes there's take one and take two. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Lawrence. Just some time for brainstorming today. This is how I'm gonna spend my time. This is how I'm gonna spend my time. This is how I'm gonna spend my time. Doing what I do best. Doing what I do best. And if living really gets me high, and I'm not just getting by, if I'm passing every test, I must be doing what I do best. This is how I wanna pass my day. This is how I wanna pass my day. This is how I wanna pass my day. Doing what I do best. Doing what I do best. If I never ever get the blues, and life is too good to be true, if the answer is always yes, I must be doing what I do best. This is how I'm gonna spend my time. This is how I'm gonna spend my time. This is how I'm gonna spend my time. Doing what I do best. 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 Oh, thank you, Holly. Yes, doing what we do best. And that includes affirming our unity intentions. So as we breathe in and exhale all that is not our best, let's say and affirm our unity founding principle together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our unity of Lawrence vision. United in divine love and joy,
We celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And finally, our Unity of Lawrence mission. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And so it is. Our guest speaker and musician, Jana Stanfield, has earned platinum albums for the songs she's written, which you've heard on radio, TV, and in movies. The co founder of two international charities, Together We Can Change the World and Refugee Film School, she has brought education and hope to thousands of young people worldwide. You might relate to one of the first songs she wrote after attending the first Unity Church experience called I'm Not Lost, I'm Exploring. So please give a warm Unity of Lawrence welcome to Jana Stanfield.
Uh, Thank you. It's so good to be here with all of you. I'm looking around on the Zoom call and seeing lots of wonderful faces that I recognize, faces from Unity of Lawrence. And then I'm seeing Dr. Pam Garci and Ann Pogue, two beloved friends who are here today. So I'm glad we've got extra guests. We want to welcome everybody out on Facebook, on the Unity of Lawrence page, and on my If I Were Brave page. And we're going to start out with something that's going to set the tone for this message, which is navigating the magnificent new normal. Starting right now, the past is all gone. Only one choice: move on, move on, move on. Begin again, this world is shiny and new. Begin again, opportunity waits for you. This world is your friend. Begin again, this world is your friend. Begin again. Yesterday's blues is yesterday's news. Only one thing to do, to do, to do. Begin again, this day is shiny and new. Begin again, opportunity waits for you. This world is your friend. Begin again, this world is your friend. Begin again, this world is your friend. Begin again. Begin again, this day is shiny and new. Begin again, this opportunity waits for you. This world is your friend. Begin again, this world is your friend. Begin again, this world is your friend. Begin again, this world is your friend. Begin again. You know what I love about being 62? Ever since I turned 60, I've had this idea that 60 is the new 18. And I've expanded that to say, whatever age you are right now, count it up, whatever age you are, that is the new 18. Because we are like the phoenix right now, rising out of this fire of the pandemic, which has burned away things that no longer serve us, beliefs, ways of being within our culture and within cultures around the world. Ways of being are falling away as we focus, all of us around the world, on what's important. Did you know that 3 million people have been lost? 3 million families have become so focused on love and humanity, human beings, the people we care about, and what's really important in this world. think how this pandemic has caused all of us to stop all of our outer activities, to stop all those things that we were doing so that we could just be inside. How many of you have done a little bit more meditation or reflection or prayer or journaling or art or anything that increases your connection with God, with the divine during this time? And we have had a chance to stop being distracted by the crazy busy world we created for ourselves. And it's given us a chance to say that we can either re-engage with what we think is the crazy busy world, or we can stay re-engaged with what's real and true inside us, with what feeds our spirits, feeds our soul, and connects us to those other beautiful souls. So the first part of navigating this magnificent new normal is reset. We have all done this. Would you agree that this has been a reset for all of us? To reset what we value, what we think is important, what we want to commit our time to, even the people that we want to commit our time to. I'm going to show you this little video that I kept seeing at the beginning of the pandemic. I had just come back from Malaysia, where I was teaching students at the refugee film school that I had begun, with students from 13 to 15 years old who are from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran. And if you can imagine, these students were like those pictures you see of people who have carried their toddlers across countries to save their children's lives. These are those toddlers whose families got them out of Afghanistan and Pakistan. They left everything, and for one reason, because they believed they were going to lose their lives. They fully believed they were going to lose their lives, and that the best thing that they could do for their children is to let everything else go except their children, and to take the one thing that mattered most. If they could only take one thing with them when running for their lives, they took their children. Now, this has caused a big reset all over the world, and we are part of that. And I want to show you this video that I kept seeing when I came back from Malaysia after that. I kept seeing this video, and I kept wondering, why does this video keep coming up for me, and what is the message? I want you to watch this and think of yourself at the beginning of the pandemic. And imagine that this video just kept coming up for you. Let me just take 1 second to make sure that in sharing the screen that I'm able to make sure that the sound works correctly. Give me 1 moment. And I want you to look at this video and see if there's some sort of message in it for you. And if there is, I'd love for you to put that in the chat so I can see any message that you get from this video. All right, I'm almost there. Here we go. Here's the video. I won't play the whole thing, but oops, I just made a mistake. Hey, we can be excellent without being perfect, right? All right, here we go. I played with slowing this thing down for you guys so that you could see what was happening a lot slower, but I meant to do that after you saw it in real regular time. So here it is now in real time. I'm going to make sure that I haven't stopped the share. Can you guys see everything? If someone could open up their microphone and let me know.
Yes, we can see the video.
right.
Thank you.
Whoa. I want you to watch this video now as I slow it down with the second point of embracing and navigating the magnificent new normal. The first one is reset. The planet has gone through a reset. We've reset our values, and we've reset from within this time, in this time of quiet, in this time of going inside. So reset is the first point. And now I want you to think, as you watch this, see if you get any message about regroup, about what regroup means as you watch this. What does it mean to you? I'm going to give you a hint from my perspective. Imagine each of those little grains of sand as a person. Notice how some of the little grains of sand or salt hold still, and they know they're supposed to hold still and not go anywhere. I don't know how or why, but others start vibrating and start moving to different groups. And then there's a point when almost all the movement stops. There are still a few hanging out, but now we've created a new pattern. Each one of us is only part of that pattern, only one small grain of sand in that pattern. But there's a new pattern that we didn't design. So I'm curious if I could see in the chat if anyone has got any ideas about what that means or what it could mean for us if we imagine ourselves as those little grains of sand. As you think of it and write something in the chat, I'm just going to do a little piece of a song that goes like this. I'm just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, but it feels so right to be right where I am. One little part in a much bigger plan, and the longer I'm here, the more I understand. I am one, we are one, like the rays of the sun. When it's all said and done, I am one, we are one. Oh, I love what I'm seeing in the chat. And for those who are on Facebook and can't see the chat that has been coming in as I sang a little of that piece of that song that I wrote with Tim Bays, the messages that people are seeing is, I was thinking as we come together, it gets more beautiful. I love that, Cindy. And Cheryl is saying the universe is on our side. It helps us design life. And Karen, that it's complex but inclusive. Every grain of sand is included, whether one grain of sand is meant to be in a big group, forming a line, or one grain of sand is not moving, just meant to be right out there in the open, maybe feeling a little bit alone. And why didn't I get called to go into that line, to go to that protest? Why didn't I feel that calling? But then when the vibration changes, which is a way I think about what's happened in the pandemic, you could look at it as there's been a change in the vibration. I have no idea scientifically. You can tell I'm not a scientist, I'm a musician, but I like to find different ways to frame things. So there's that one hanging out, not doing anything. And then the next vibration comes and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to go over here. How do we know this? How do those grains of sand know? I believe it's by following a divine calling from within, a divine need to move. Some more really wonderful things, that there will be opportunities for each of us. And I say they're going to come just at the right time if we're listening for the call from within, that true calling that I call it, that we are all connected, that we are allowing ourselves to be moved as we feel called to do so creates beauty. Oh, being a wordsmith, I love the idea of us allowing ourselves to be moved. You know, I was listening yesterday to a radio story, and it was about these parents who, a couple with teenage boys, and one of their teenage boys was taking Spanish, and they lived near the border where so many children were alone, and on the US border. And this family started fostering for a night or for a week or 2 weeks these children from the border so that they had a home to sleep in. And their teenage son did the translating in Spanish. And they were talking about how their family has just blossomed and how they saw these children blossom just by having love during a time where they were traumatized, where they described their parents telling them that the only way I could ever do this and let you go is because I want you to be safe. And my love wants you to be safe. Even if it means you can't be with me and I can't be with you, I want you to be safe. So another one is that what I got of this, that, oh, know when it's time to go. Another one, I don't have to struggle, just participate in what is coming to pass for the good of all. I love this mental we wellness instead of mental I illness. Oh my gosh, I love what I'm hearing from all of you right now. That it's easy to feel that I am not, you guys, I can't read through tears. I put my glasses on, but they still can't help me read through tears. It's easy to feel that I'm not doing enough or don't have the power to make a difference. This idea shows that each movement is a part of a greater design, the grand design that we're all part of, whether it's time for us to move or time for us to be still and listen, because there may be places that need or appreciate what I have to offer. And the last one I'm going to read before I go back is, I was reminded earlier today that the interconnectedness of thoughts and actions and energy in general is a message I was called to share 19 years ago. Lately, I have felt again the call to remember the specific things that I've wanted and thought I'd sing over the past 8 to 12 years. I love that, because that goes back to the idea that whatever age you are right now is the new 18. Remember when you got out of high school and the whole world was open to you? What would you like to be? What would you like to do? What kind of difference would you like to make? Now, by 20 or 21, we've been so pounded down by our lack of knowledge about how to move forward. And so we just moved forward to the only open door we could see from where we were. We are this many years older, wiser. We can see from a higher spiritual perspective now. We can see ways where we could move right now simply by lifting a finger in the direction we want to go. Could you lift a finger in the direction you want to go simply by doing a little research about how you could help in the direction you want to go, how you could bring more of what you want in your life in the direction you want to go, whether it's music, poetry, creativity, or volunteering in a certain way. These parents who were taking families in said that the way they were inspired is that they were at their church, and the minister said, if there's something you see or hear about that hurts your heart, that is your calling to explore in that direction, the same way that Joseph Campbell said that the way to find our bliss, the way to follow your bliss, is to do what you care about. The things we care about are a big, big sign, a big carrot over the mule's ears. And as we move forward toward that carrot, even if we don't catch the carrot, it moves us forward even one finger, lifting a finger forward. Even one finger's movement is enough, because you know what? Even God can't steer a parked car. When we lift that finger, when we lift that pen, when we lift that paintbrush, when we lift that heart that comes to us to be lifted, when we step forward instead of stepping back, when we choose love over fear, that's when God can steer, because even God can't steer a parked car. How can we lift a finger and get ourselves moving in the right direction? So part of it is regrouping. We can regroup all over the world. I got to Unity Church because of 12-step meetings when I was 28 years old. And by coming to 12-step meetings there, I picked up the literature. I started coming on Sundays, and I've been coming all this time since I was 28. And my life is better because of that. And it started with a need, a call to go to a 12-step meetings. Do you know there are something like 50 different kinds of 12-step meetings for anything that causes you a challenge in your life? look it up, lift a finger to find out if there's something holding you back. Maybe it's Procrastinators Anonymous. They've been trying to form, but they just keep putting it off. Judy Tenuta is a comedian, and her mom said, Judy, you're never going to stop procrastinating. And Judy said, Mom, just you wait. Yes. And then, there's the one for people who can't stop talking. That one's called On and On and On. Yes. And I remember going to Codependence Anonymous, and I thought, I can't go to Codependence Anonymous. I live alone. I'm not codependent on anyone. Well, it turns out I was dependent on what everyone thought of me in my own imagination, and especially people I didn't know. I wanted to impress people I didn't know by doing what I could only guess they wanted me to do. And this pandemic has been a good reminder to go back within. So if there's something that has been holding you back, that's one easy way to regroup. We are regrouping here on Zoom, on Facebook. So what? We can't go to where we used to gather. We can gather with people all over the world on 12-step meetings. You can go any hour of the day. I can go to one, and I can find, for example, a person from Israel. And one of the things she said in the meeting is that when she was working in the surgical theater at a battlefield, when she was in the Israeli army, there was a sign that said, "We believe in miracles. Sometimes it's the only way." The only way for us to move forward is to believe in miracles. Miracles are happening everywhere we look. And I want to share one with you. Remember when I got that calling? And by the way, this next step is called recreate. Recreate. So how to navigate the magnificent new normal? Reset. The pandemic has reset us. And I want to invite us to look back at when we were 18. I believe that we're given our aspirations and our inspirations and the things that hurt our hearts, that don't hurt anyone else's. We're given that for a reason. And if we follow that, if we do what we care about, if we lift a finger in the direction of what we care about, we begin moving forward. And as we move forward, we find ways to regroup. In the past, you just sort of hung out. We just sort of hung out with whoever was there. On Zoom, we can choose people from all over the world who share our beliefs, our values, people who see the world in ways that we want to see it. We can connect with them through this magnificent new normal. And the third is to recreate. Now, when I was in my 20s, 30s, what I cared most about was creating music and performing it, writing songs and performing those songs. I didn't want to do one with the other. I didn't want just to be out there singing songs. I wanted them to be my songs. I didn't want to just write songs, but if I wrote them, I wanted to share them. I have a new song that just was completed that I wrote with Ann Pogue, who's here. And I played it for a friend yesterday, and she said, "Oh my gosh, that song is so good. How are you going to get it on the radio?" And I said, "You know what? I'm not even going to try." We wrote that song to heal ourselves and to help other people who somehow receive it because someone sent it to them, someone shared it with them. And she said, "Well, how do musicians make money anymore?" And I said, "I have no idea. If you find out, let me know. I am doing this because for so many years, this is what I wanted to do." Well, This pandemic gives us a chance to recreate that person that we always wanted to be. It's never too late to become more of the person that you always wanted to be. It's not all or nothing. I am taking a stand to live in the land of both and. So in my recreation, since I was a television news reporter, when I was right out of college, I'll tell you, I told God I wanted to be on TV. Be careful what you wish for. I wanted to be on TV in the worst way and doing television news and scaring the heck out of people and using your creative writing to outrage people and to disrupt and to upset people and to make them afraid and to tell them that the world is divided and you can't trust them on the other side. To use my words in that way was the worst way to be on television, in my opinion. But I got what I wished for now. At 60, I was no longer wishing to be able to sing songs that people could hear because I achieved that. Even if it's just us, that's enough for me. But what I wanted was to make a bigger difference and to use my television skills to teach teenagers from marginalized populations around the world, girls especially, and girls and boys whose families were struggling in situations that had very little hope. And that's why I started Refugee Film School at the School for Refugees in Malaysia for those students from Afghanistan, Pakistan. And so I want to show you what has happened since the last time we spoke. There's a church, Unity of Naperville, and their music director, Kim Char Meredith, who has a production company, and she's creating the 12 Powers Club where people can join, and a portion of that goes to whatever Unity church they choose. She's doing all sorts of things that help spread the Unity message through media. And she hired one of our students who wanted to be an actor or a voiceover artist when he grows up. Now, if you are one of those toddlers who was carried out of a war zone to refugee camps and to a refugee community in another city, what chance would you think you have to do that? Well, this young man has gotten the chance through Refugee Film School. Kim Char asked him to make a video, and this young boy, he's I think 16, so he's not a young boy, he's a young man. This young man made this video, and he did the voiceover, even though English is his third or fourth language. And some of the students, it's really hard to understand. But this young boy, this young man made this video, and I want to share it with you as we go into the meditation. We'll go straight into the meditation from here.
To be just as enthused.
This is his voice, and he chose all of the pictures for this poem. So imagine one of those children who's been carried across our borders, carried across nations, doing this when they're 16 years old.
Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there is something in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To think only the best. To work only for the best and to expect only the best. To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. To forget the mistakes of the past and press on to the greater achievements of the future. To wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile. To give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others. To be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble. To think well of yourself and to proclaim this fact to the world, not in loud words but great deeds. To live in faith that the whole world is on your side, so long as you are true to the best that is in you.
I invite you to close your eyes now as we go into a few moments of meditation. I invite you to close your eyes, sink into yourself and into your chair. Give yourself some nice belly breaths. Pay attention to your breathing from your belly. And when you notice that you are no longer breathing from your belly, just bring yourself back to belly breathing. In the same way that you notice yourself thinking about something else, you bring that little monkey mind back like you would a small child who was distracted. Oh, back to that belly breath, back to that belly breath. Focus on your breathing as we allow ourselves to reset today, to reset ourselves to this magnificent new normal, to the opportunities that wait for us, to follow our bliss, to do what we care about, what we always somehow had in our minds that was there in this lifetime for us to do, and help us remember it's never too late to do what we might have done and become who we are here to become. Even if it's only by lifting a finger in the direction of that dream. We know that a dream is never a destination. A dream is a direction, like a carrot on a stick, because even God can't steer a parked car. And so we look to who we can regroup with for strength and inspiration, and how we can allow God to recreate a beautiful new pattern simply by being a grain of sand, by being like a grain of sand in God's hand, listening for that call when it's time to move and when it's time to be still, and never judging whether it's time for us to move or time to be still, as we will in this moment of silence, in the stillness. And as we continue our belly breathing, and as we bring ourselves back to it today, anytime we forget, we remember that we are simply here to be a grain of sand in God's hand. moved by the Spirit, and still when it's time to be still, I'm just a spoke in the wheel, one grain of sand, but it feels so right to be right where I am, one little part of a much bigger plan. But the longer I'm here, the more I understand.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, what a joyful and recharging. Thank you. Beautiful message and music. So, this is the time in unity where we take all of the gifts we've been given deep in our hearts, and it is our time of thanks and offering. I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts, and let us say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Please go online to give via PayPal, or use this time to write a check and mail it to support the Unity of Lawrence ministry. Thank you. And now let's join Holly in singing More Than Enough by Jana Stanfield.
We've got a great mantra here gifted to us from Jana today. Hope you can sing along with me. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. I have more than enough. All that I need to do, all I can do, be all I can be as I go through this day. This is my creed, I have more than enough. All that I need, I have more than enough. All that I need. Say, hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. I have more than enough. All that I need to do, all I can do, be all I can be as I go through this day. This is my creed. I have more than enough. All that I need, I have more than enough. All that I need. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough. Hey na 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 na, more than enough.
Oh, breathing in and breathing out. I am called to acknowledge with gratitude that I have more than enough, that we have more than enough, that we are abundant and well in our natures. And this is the truth of us. We have talent, we have treasure, we have time to give unto this world, to give unto the grand plan, and to know that we each can play our part. And we are grateful that this is so. And we are grateful that we are connected in the well-being of this beautiful universe. Thank you, God. Amen.
And so it is. Thank you, Karen. Yes, as we allow ourselves to be moved, beauty happens. And last Sunday was our first second Sunday social gathering. 20 folks came together in our Unity parking lot wearing masks, visiting with old and new friends. So please mark your calendars for next month's gathering on May 9th. Bring a lawn chair, a mask, and be prepared for conversation and laughter. Again, we will gather at 1 o'clock on Sunday, May 9th, as long as the temperature is above 50 degrees or above and it isn't raining. Everyone is invited, old members, new friends included. Make plans to join us in joyful unity and let's see what the salt shakers shake out. Join us next week as Randy Granger brings us both music and message in Recalibrating Our Spirits a Year into a Pandemic. Now it is time for us to bless our youth and each other by rubbing our hands together and saying with me, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. And now it's time to join Holly and Bradford in singing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God our Creator, children all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now the prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God washes over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We invite our guest speaker and others to stay online for a few moments to visit on Zoom. Have a beautiful week. See you next Sunday.